We're live. Hey everyone, welcome.
Oh,
Welcome to the very first edition of an evening with Vanessa Lillie. That implies that we'll have to have multiple evenings
that's
with
I'm
Vanessa
around.
Lillie.
I'm
Um,
around. That's no problem.
yeah, we have nowhere to go. We have kids.
I know. Oh, and are you having what are you smoking?
It's a vape pen.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having
Yeah.
wine. So
Oh yeah, that's
we've
my
all
version
we've
of.
all got our relaxation.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Especially now. Oh my goodness. So man, this is. I'm so excited to do this, and we're gonna do a podcast episode as well. And but you're nice enough to learn our new
Oh
video
yeah.
angle.
It'd be great.
So we recorded back in January, February.
That's
I was
right.
trying to
I think
think.
January?
I think January because I
Yeah.
was looking at it. I was looking at it as like it released in February. I was like, well, I know myself, so that means there's probably like 6 weeks that led up to that before I can get it out in time. And I was like, man, what a fun person to talk to because I'm like, what? Nothing has changed since January.
No, it's exactly the same. We're just going about our lives.
Yeah, just a couple of people not going out often because they have small children.
That's right. That is kind of true.
Yeah, so it's so funny because I mean, at least the going out part for me, like I still go. I've been going to work through all of it, so it's been fortunate. But like people that complain about like not going out at night, I was like, I didn't really go out at night unless it was like a What Cheater event. I didn't get to go out very frequently.
We would go to restaurants though. I miss.
Oh, I miss restaurants.
I mean, we takeout here is so good. I mean, I'm not complaining,
Yeah.
but it's not the same as like, especially at the end of the day. Like I'd pick him up from school, and I could just be like, all right, let's just go to Hope Street Pizza. And
Oh my God, so
they
good.
would give me a big pour of wine, and he would love the food, and he'd play on his iPad. And you could just, instead of just being at home in the contained whatever. So I do miss that a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I'm by all means. I missed. I think I feel fortunate that we live in Rhode Island, so we've been able to have some semblance of a normal-ish life. But we're not here to talk about all that sad stuff.
Nah.
Oh my God, you have been busy as hell since we recorded. You started. I mean, I've seen you on the road show. You're a contributor for Providence Journal, and you wrote a book or something. Another book? Oh, that's right. You wrote another book. For the best. I know. I love that. You might be, of all the people I've ever like met virtually or whatever. I know. Actually, we met in real life. That's even more fun. You're one of the best at marketing your product. I get so jealous. I was like,
it's my back, but that's what I did before.
Yeah.
Like, I was a marketing background, so my brain is that way. Like either it is or I think you can teach it to do certain things, but I'm just always like, all right, I have told my publisher like I need a poster for my video. That's how my brain works always.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I'm learning more about that and how to do that. Like, I have a pillow back there. I'm pretty proud of that my wife got for us, and we have merch. So like, I was gonna say what you've been up to, but like, man, you went from like when we first met, and I was actually thinking about, I was like, how did Vanessa end up on the show? It was Jody from What Cheer was the one who's like, you should talk to Vanessa. Would get along. I was like, all right, and I remember checking out like your stuff. And I was like telling her like I'm not a big reader, but I'd love to. And then I saw like I started following you on Instagram, and then I was like, you have a good profile where you're like I think I know her. I was like, all right, we're doing a podcast, and then it turns out that you happen. So like I think that's a good skill that you were able to be a talented writer. But now like do you consider like are you doing that on purpose? Like do you find that you're like selling you as the product more than the book simultaneously?
So I've been kind of mindful of that lately because you always feel a tension between what do you imagine people want to see and then what's true, and then maybe what would sell books or what. So I always kind of lean on the positive, honest, like I wouldn't say I'm a cheerleader, but I like being positive on like Instagram just because
it's so helpful for people.
Yeah, it just feels like a place where people kind of come to not escape, because that's not it, but it's to come to kind of enjoy books, to enjoy each other, and kind of celebrate reading and writers. So you know, I don't want to just like go on there and just dump on the world, and you know, like it just doesn't feel right. And also that's what the world is right now, so it's kind of nice to be like, all right, I'm gonna take a picture of a book that looks pretty, or I'm gonna take a picture with my kid, you know, like
I'll go.
Yeah, like I like to kind of make it be more of a happier place. Or I mean, I still talk about real things, especially like in light of Black Lives Matter and things like that. Like it is important to not just be, you know, always happy and sunny. But I do think that, you know, I try to be true, but I would say I lean a little positive on that.
Which I always, and when I saw, you know, meeting, it's like seeing your online personality and like knowing about your work and stuff. Your work is really dark. And then when we like did our podcast episode, I was like, you are a much more bubbly person than one would expect if you just read your book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which I think is so great. It's so great. Wow. And so, I mean, for the, it's so funny because I remember you talking about your next book coming out in September, and like, here we are. Like,
I know.
What was the process? Actually, I don't know anything about writing a book because, like, sometimes I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and they were doing like releasing.
I know. Yes, happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You are.
I was trying to take a picture, and I think I just messed it up. There we go. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, we should take a picture.
Oh yeah, I don't have my phone on.
Smile. I got you. I got a screenshot situation right here. 1, 2, 3, smile. Oh shoot! See, sorry. I think I went dark. I don't know if it did it. Let me try one more time. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's like, this is the worst interview. No, I'm just kidding. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's not working. Never mind.
Yeah, my producer Bree, who wishes she could be here, she was doing stuff with her kids. She always sneakily takes a photo of us when we're doing stuff without telling me.
If
and I'm always
on
like,
my computer, this would be no problem. But on my phone, it's being weird. But it doesn't matter because it's on YouTube. So you just pause it in a place where we both look gorgeous.
I don't even know how to do that on my computer.
On YouTube. It's fine. It's fine.
Do one of these. That's it. Oh, so I was watching like one of their YouTube videos about like they're sharing like stuff about like, what the movie was going to be and like outlines of writing, and it was like I felt so strange because like when I think of writing, I still think of school where you sit down and you just literally write what you're writing, and like they were showing the outlines and the pictures and all the different stuff, and then I know I've seen you post that stuff on Instagram too. I was like, oh my God, there's so much more that goes into this. Like,
yeah.
What was your what's your process when you're just like, I know like part of it you're like, let's dig through some stuff, but also like have a good story.
Like real emotion in. Like, so my debut, I think we talked about like, you know, it was all my kind of postpartums and just the parenthood, motherhood feeling, which is huge and overwhelming for me. I put all of that into a thriller, and you know, and also there's a big issues, and I would think for the best, I would say. But at the heart of it, it's just got to be a really good story. So you have to really pay attention to structure and pacing. And, you know, if you go in trying to like make a point, it's not going to be good. Like it's really got to be about the twists and the turns. And, you know, I try to end most chapters on a little bit of a hook. But you also just don't know. Like it's funny because with this one, a lot of people have been calling it a slow burn thriller, which I just think I don't know what that means, even though I write them, I guess. So you just never know what people are going to interpret it. And I mean, they like it, but it's just, you just create the thing that's kind of like in your mind, and you make it the kind of best thing you can, and you can outline and you can blah, 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 and you just work at it. But even if you put everything like that you imagine into it, the fact is, it is not yours. It is someone else to interpret, right? It's you give someone something and it's gone. They have every right in the world to feel how they want to feel about your work. So you just do your best and then you see what happens. Which is kind of cool too. Like you don't have control over it.
I think slow burn. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think slow burn's I mean that I think.
Oh yeah,
when I hear the word slow burn, that's high praise.
It's not. I think it's cool. It's just so funny because people, or you know, so they called this one a slow burn. I didn't even think about that. With Little Voices, my debut, people were calling it a political thriller. I didn't even think of that. Like it's really cool to have people interpret your work and to find responses and places that you didn't know you went, that to them you did go. I mean, it's cool. I love it. I mean, I love even negative reviews, I think are just fascinating because, you know, I think I'm kind of a picky reader too, so I don't really take them personal. And I think it's such a compliment. Like, I mean, you must feel this when any one person listens to your podcast, like that's a huge compliment. They gave you their time, which, as we all know from this mess, is the most valuable thing any of us have. And so even if someone sits down and hates my book, the fact that they read it is incredible. I mean, that's hours of time.
Do you do that? Like, if I read a book and I'm not into it by, like, at some point, I feel books, TV, I'm done. I will not. My wife's the opposite. She has to commit.
That's it. Yep. That's a whole thing. Yeah. I'm the opposite. I don't.
Yeah. She watched all of Free Willy 4 once because she had to see how it ended.
So
4. There's 4 of them with Bo Bridges.
I think Bo Bridges is in all 4.
I have no idea, but she watched the 4. With our old neighbor.
Was it? No, was it Macaulay Culkin in the first one?
It's been so long. Yeah. It's been so long.
I definitely saw it in the theater. I think I saw 1 and 2 in the theater, actually.
I didn't even know they made that many. To be honest, because my nephew and his little friend, he's 6, and all his little friends like Free Willy and like The Sandlot are like the 90s movie, and are that all the kids they love, like that. You know, every generation there's a few of your movies will go forward, and apparently Free Willy, at least for him, like, and of course I assume all children are the exact same as my nephew in Massachusetts, so that's how it works, right?
Yeah,
right.
That's a good one.
Well, I love that you always incorporate your son into all of your stuff, and it's always so funny because like I'm like it's always really sweet, and then sometimes you could tell that you know I'm a parent. You could tell I'm like,
but the kids
yep, that's yep. You're like, listen up. This is like, get the fuck away from me. Go play your video.
Right.
But he seems like the coolest little kid. Yeah.
Oh,
I bought you a Switch. Actually use it.
I know. They just they are the coolest thing I've ever done. He is the best thing for sure I've ever done. And but I think the fun of it is like just being honest about it, right? Like, just because you love something more than anything in the whole world and more than you will ever love anything doesn't mean you can't think they're insane.
Oh my God.
Just like drive you crazy. So I love it.
Especially if we were all in tight spaces for a long time.
I know. That's been so. I wonder if has that been true for you too? Like, to watch their growth over 6 months, like front and center, was really incredible.
Yeah, my daughter's 3.5, and like she had some delayed speech and stuff. And from like when this started till now, it's like another foot and a whole new language has been coming out. For some reason, sorry, it froze on your video.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my phone is, I think, fussy.
Oh no, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm fine with it. I hope others are too.
I'll switch to Wi-Fi and see if that makes it happier. I don't know.
I know. How is it 2020 and we always have all these internet things? Well, one of the things I love about how you utilize your son into your social media with the honesty, and that's always sweet. And I love all the sloth stuff. He might be the coolest because of his love of Zelda, but I love how you like in what you're doing the Projo, the Corona Diary stuff, like taking him to the Black Lives Matter rally and like talking about race. And I got so inspired by when you were donating the books of how to be anti-racist to the different free libraries. Mm-hmm. I was like, that is so cool. My wife and I are going to do that. We have a free library in our neighborhood that we become obsessed with. I'm like, we got to do that.
Yes.
She has to finish reading it and then we're going to donate it.
Oh, good. So you guys got How to Be Anti-Racist. That's a good one. Yeah.
She's been reading. And then she's got to finish it, and then we're gonna donate it. And I was like, I'll do the audiobook. But
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I've heard it was good.
Great. Yeah. The free libraries are a powerful mechanism, to share information, and doing that column has been the greatest.
How did that come about?
So Gene Wayne
was that Miller, your hustle, or was it fell in your lap?
No, actually. Well, I mean, in a way, I guess. So G. Wayne Miller, who's a longtime reporter there. He wrote a review of Little Voices for the Projo. And so we were kind of friendly in that way, like I knew him. And then when this happened, he reached out and just said the Projo was going to try to start creating some free content for people during this. And he wanted to know if I just wanted to write a column. Or even I think he just said a little diary entry. So I actually didn't know it was going to be regular at all. And I imagined it was going to be like my picture in like a paragraph. And then he was like, no, just, write a whole column and just see what happens. And so I wrote the first one and it, went over well. And so actually I'm due tomorrow morning is my 30th column. So I'm excited about that.
Like, was this your plan when you became an author to become like, was this like part of your grand plan of like going from like, not working a full-time job to like being a writer to then become like a media personality, kind of like it all kind of rolls into one?
I keep thinking they're going to be like, no.
No, I mean, I love them. They're really good.
Oh, that's nice. I appreciate that. I really, this is the God honest truth. Every time I've sat down to write them, so this is the 30th time, and I was literally thinking it this very evening because I was trying to get it together. I was like, all right, this is the one where they're like, Vanessa, thank you, but we're done. 30 times I've thought that, because every time I sit down, I think, I don't think this is going to be good. And I don't know, that's just like writer stuff. But so yeah, as long as they keep, asking me for it, I'll keep figuring something out. And I love doing it. It's when I look back at the columns I wrote, I mean, there's stuff I don't remember. I mean, truly. Things that happened or thoughts I had that are gone. So in some ways, it has actually been like keeping a diary, which I don't do. So I appreciate it because I've been more mindful. And if I just know I've got like 700 words every week that it needs to be put together and thought out and something that people will connect with, it puts me in a space, I think, to kind of, I don't know, not just be doom scrolling or so worried, you know what I mean? Like you just have to be able to sit down and think about other people and think about what they might want to hear from you. And I don't know, I've really appreciated having that time in that space. It's been great.
The one that I really was like the most touched by is the about kindness in the time of the virus, where you were at a post office and you met a person, and then you like took that risk. And I mean, you practice all precautions and all that good stuff. But like that was super, like that doesn't happen like ever. So, what I loved about that story, it's like, and I'm going to guess that I'm not alone with this. Like when you read that story, it doesn't get the sense that Vanessa Lillie did this to write about it. It just sounds like this is who you are at your core of a human being. And here's the avenue I get to share it with.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think about writing about it at the time. It was very stressful. And I just like was worried for this woman. And I don't remember if I said it in the column, but I just come from my parents. Like I have these memories of like, my dad is constantly helping people with stuff. I remember when I was really little, we were like coming back from Walmart and my mom pulled over to pick this old lady up who was walking in the heat. I mean, that's just, I don't know. That's just, and I'm not saying like, oh, we're great people, but it's just like, you just help people if you can, you know what I'm saying? It's
sure.
You just help people. And so it was sort of ingrained in me. And I actually had that resistance of what I think I did write about that resistance of, all right, these are dangerous times. Normally you would have definitely helped this woman, but like, is this appropriate or safe? And if I had my son with me, I wouldn't have done it for sure.
Yeah, of course.
But I think, I don't know. Anyway, well, I couldn't have because I had to put her little boy in the car seat. But the point is just, you struggle with some of these things that used to sort of be who you were. But in this time, you have to think twice.
But you still you did it. You did that. There's a Carrie Fisher quote. I love the "Be afraid, but do it anyway."
That's a great quote.
We have like a pillow of that at our house. We have a bunch of that kind of stuff.
And pillows, so good.
Oh, fanatic! Yeah, we're a big pillow fan. We just like comfort around here.
1000%. Absolutely.
So I keep doing the side thinks your video keeps freezing, and then when I fix it,
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh, please. It doesn't matter. It's true. No one will. Anyone who people will listen to this. It will be. They do what I do. I assume they like play video games and do something completely different. Why
Absolutely.
This is out in the background.
It's only my
and anyone in the
parents are
chat,
gonna
feel
watch
free
the
to.
video. It's only gonna Mike and Carla are gonna watch the video, and everyone else will just listen.
Well, mom and dad, pop. There's a way you could chat. If you do a little chat, we can put like this. Like we could. There's an example.
Oh yeah.
If you put something in the little chat box, we could pull you up on the screen and show stuff. That's not a fun message. So give us some fun messages on here. We did one of these with We did one with the Chuck and Brad guys, Chuck and Brad from the Chuck and Brad podcast, and within and I could tell they were a different breed within 5 minutes because all of a sudden they were playing with like the name. You can change your name on here, which I didn't know you could do. And all of a sudden they just turned it into like the Colbert Show where they're like just making fun and like I'll be talking about something and they're making comments and I was like, yep, that's a comedian for you. I'm a little less tech savvy. I'm like, I don't know, is this thing on?
That's how I feel. I'm like, I've got my ring light. That's just whatever, I guess.
On average, how many selfies do you think you take a day now? Was that life before? Like, did you take selfies before the book?
Yeah, a little bit,
but not.
But I have found that people like pictures with people in them. For me, anyway.
That's Facebook's algorithm is like purpose. That's like a trick for whatever reason they love. Like that's. Yeah, faces will always. It's probably for their facial recognition if we're getting too scary. But that's always the trick. Faces is the thing that gets you the more views and likes, or it fucks it. I don't know why, but that's the algorithm trick.
Well, and then just on Instagram, my most popular posts are usually if I'm in them, and I get that. I like seeing people's faces too. I mean, if I was very artistic and could create really beautiful book shots, and I try. But those are never the faves. It's always
you get very creative though. You get so creative.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I really not to be a Instagram stan person, but I think it's a really cool place, and I like that you can be as creative and silly as you want. I mean, there's some really fun stuff out there and funny.
It's so fun. I just started using TikTok.
Okay, people are obsessed with that. Mm-hmm.
It's what Instagram should be. It's actually
super interesting.
It's what Instagram Stories wants to be, especially since they rolled out their Reels, which is literally they just stole from TikTok.
Right. It's I think they're trying to do that, but with Reels, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it's I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that.
No, you're right.
I saw. I keep hitting the wrong button. Why does it? Sorry for anyone watching. Solo layout. That's what I was trying to do. We're fixing that, and and then it's kind of like if you have a little more I actually struggle with Insta Story. I don't really know how to use it very well, but TikTok you can do a lot more with it. It's basically like iMovie on your phone, but a small version of it. People get pretty nuts with it, but you can just put music and more photo. I know there's a lot more fun applications. It seems to be dancing is the most popular thing on there, and always oh my god, I gotta do a lip up. I gotta fucking learn how to do a lip up. Do I have to learn a dance a dance tonight? Because it's fun. I definitely recommend.
I like at least playing on it. Stories, and it's to me it's sort of just kind of a conversation. But a one-sided conversation. So if you follow people you want to know what they're just up to during the day, it's fun. If they share it, I enjoy just being I'm a very nosy person, so I like it because I can just see what people are up to. Oh yeah, I love it too because you're always when you're doing the tours of Little Voices, it's I work at Butler. I'm oh my god, I know that house. I know that house. I walk that boulevard, or I've been on that neighborhood. I'm oh my god, I live I'm always on the east side, so it cracks. I'm I know where all that stuff is. Yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun. Now, and you were also on the road show. That was so fucking. I felt bad because I know you were on the road show, and then everything happened. And I was oh, that must have been was hoping to turn into something more. Oh yeah. Well, the good thing about the roadshow is that I think part of the reason I was on it twice, and part of the reason I think is because of the pandemic. So I got to like come on and record a video right after it happened. Yeah, so I was on twice, and I talked about my column and stuff like that. And I think
that is so cool.
They just needed content, probably. But yeah,
hey, I'll take it.
They're really nice over there, and it was fun.
Was that your first time on TV, like proper?
No, I was on the White House Chronicles, which is like a PBS show that's filmed out of here, but it's a kind of national, it's a PBS kind of show, news show. So I talked about writing on that, and I've done like a few other small things. Those were kind of the main ones, I guess. Yeah, it was fun. TV's cool. It's easy. It's very short and sweet.
Oh, it's like no, not to brag, but I was once featured in an episode of the Food Network's Secret Life of Hamburgers. No big deal.
Well, wow.
Yeah, and by featured, I mean there's a 1 second clip of me doing this into a hamburger.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, pretty cool. Just right place, right time.
Yeah. So you know what? I was on.
Oh, it's on Today's Show too.
Oh,
sorry.
Like, were you holding a sign?
No, I was at the NBC store in in Times Square, and my friend and I from college we had just like gotten pretty stoned, and I wanted to go buy some office toys or something or 30 Rock. I don't know. I wanted to go buy a toy. I probably wanted to go buy a toy or something, and I saw they were filming, and he got nervous, like, we got to get out of here, and I was like, mm-mm. So I like kind of just hung around and just like kind of waited until like, hey, excuse us, can we interview? It was like something about like your lucky. I think they were asking about lucky, like maybe it was around St. Patrick's Day, sort of asking if you like a fluff piece if you had any like lucky items. Of course, I just lied through my teeth because I just wanted to be. I was like, okay, sure, I have lucky shorts, and I was so proud of myself because I had to send a picture and I wore my friend's band shirt in my picture, so they would also be on the Today Show when they had to send my photo in with it.
You're a natural marketer. That's amazing.
Thank you. I've been getting really interested in like learning, and I took a class through PRX for the podcast, and I teamed up with I have a producer now, and it's going into a new phase, which I'm very excited about, and it's super fun, and it's like, I mean, I was like, well, I got nothing else to do, might as well just throw a bunch of virtual events because, ideally real life, but that's harder.
Yeah, no, it is, but this is a really exciting time. I mean, I was actually just listening to a podcast today talking about podcasts and how they've been saying for a while, like, this is the era of podcasts, but just with the way technology is going, and like Spotify is making all these investments, and it's a really exciting time to be, podcasting and interviewing people and just putting content out there because, people just listen all the time. Whereas, our nature is storytelling. I mean, that goes back to the first time we gathered around fires and told stories.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's in our DNA. So
100%. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like the explosion of audiobooks, podcasts, all of that is connected deep down. It's not just new. It's who we are, really.
Oh, it's funny you say that. Whenever I get that question or whatever, I've always said, like, podcasting is like, it's not new. It's just radio. It's honestly, it's primal. It's just sitting around the campfire. Like, that's what people like about it. And people are like, why do people like podcasts? Like, people just like to sit and listen. But it's what they like. And it's funny you say that about the age of audio, age of podcast. As two things I've thought of simultaneously. A friend of the show, my buddy Sean, who's actually been on a couple times, he hasn't come out yet, but he just made the document. He's made the documentary about the age of audio, about podcasting, and like Ira, like the whole gang. I can't wait for that. And then I remember, I think it was last year, I want to say, I think I heard Malcolm Gladwell saying this: audiobooks outsold written books for the first time ever.
I believe that.
There's been like a huge, and I think about this too, like, and I'm sure you're seeing this with your son as well, but there's like a cultural shift of like the younger generation, like they don't want to just consume media anymore because of the way the technology is. They don't have to, like, everything is about like people want to be a part of it. Like, I think that's why like Quibi like completely like failed, and like some of these like bigger things, like the younger generation, like they like Twitch, they like YouTube, they like stuff where like even if you're just watching it, you feel a part of it. Like it went from like the whole. There's just been a shift from like a passive content consumer to like a consumer needs to be more invested, involved into it, and that's and I especially with the virus, you saw like the younger generation was so prepared for it. They're like, oh yeah, we FaceTime every single day, and we do one, and like they live on the internet, and like, oh, we've been making fun of you, and boy, was I wrong.
Absolutely, they're fine. Like they're like, oh yeah, it's no worries. They're also like, we don't really go to bars. You old people do. Like they're like, we'll get takeout. They're just it was harder for us because our lives, I think, were more grounded in these ways that didn't lend itself to being quarantined.
No,
it was harder for us.
The funny thing is, like, I've been doing the podcast for a while, and it was mostly mixture of like people's houses or coming to my home or like a lot of this, and then I started doing the What Cheer studio, and it was like the finally like, oh, I feel so like legitimate. I'm in a studio because I had this honest like a deep like secret like shame about it. Like I like never felt like I was really like one of the real podcasts because I was still doing it on the like it was like a real in our communities, and I was finally got to the studio, and then all of a sudden this happens, and now like everyone is recording in their closet, and all of a sudden the playing field just leveled like overnight. Like all of a sudden me and Ira Glass are literally doing the exact same thing.
Absolutely. And you kind of were before too, but it was psychological. I mean,
yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, therapy helps with all that stuff. You're like, oh, yeah.
No, but it's, I mean, I think the minimalism that has come from this is tremendous. I, again, was listening to a podcast today. My kid is back in school, so I can listen to podcasts again. So I listen to them in the car when I drop him off.
Oh, no more Zelda?
Oh, wow. He played it. You know what he's into right now is Splatoon.
I don't know what that is.
It's cool. It's like a paintball game where you
Sounds awesome.
It's actually very cathartic, or it's got some ASMR to it. It's like
what's it called?
So it's like Splat, but
so
Splatoon, and I think actually it's Splatoon 2. I think it's the second one.
Right. I know what Benny's getting for a present.
Yeah, it's super good. I enjoy it too. You just coat things with paint, which feels good. And then you go against other teams and you try to get the most paint splattered. I mean, it's nice. I really like it. And he's on all these like different levels, and I don't even know what he's doing. But just the basic thing, you just coat it with paint. But observing him, not with Splatoon, but like with Zelda and whatever, just like thinking to what you're saying about the interaction. They want to carry it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I mean,
Zelda's hard.
They role play Zelda.
Aww.
Playing pretend. Then they have it all like on their clothes. August has a Zelda costume. Yeah. Then they play it and talk about it. And then he watches YouTube videos of people playing it and talking about it. I mean, it's across every. He doesn't even watch TV much, or he definitely doesn't watch movies.
Oh yeah, kids don't watch TV; they watch YouTube.
Yeah, it's like not a brag thing. He doesn't. He watches YouTube, and you know what he's really into is the Last Kids on Earth. It's like a series with zombies. It's like
I heard that was good.
It is, yeah. So there's the Netflix show that has the first 2 books, but I think they're like 5 books. So we just got them. We're like a little old for him. He's only 5, but he's been reading. I've been reading them to him, and I don't know. It's cool to be able to like. He would watch. His friends were talking about the show. They played the show in the backyard. Then he wanted the books because they were reading the books, and then he started watching the show.
But I mean, that's so awesome. I mean, that's how I am as a fan of things. Like they call it the second screen experience. Like, I mean, I'm wearing a Community shirt for God's sake. Like, I watch a show.
I love
like.
Community.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. But a perfect example. Like, so I watched Better Call Saul. Like, it's like one of the few shows I would watch religiously, and I'd watch it live, and then it would end, and then I'd have to go on YouTube and watch like recap videos to like understand it like a little bit more. Then I have to go listen to the Better Call Saul Insider podcast, and like then I love Comic-Con for all the fan art and stuff. So then of course I want to have like some sort of Better Call Saul fan art or something like that. Like I don't know if. I kind of see it. There's a couple behind me. There's a Avengers and Space Scope fan art. I have some issues with these particular walls, but it's cool like that with kids. Like it's I think it's a little harder though for creators because it's like you're no longer just making a TV show. You're making a TV show, a book, all that stuff. The toy,
yeah, that's true too.
which I think is probably. I think that's actually been the case forever. But I mean, I'm a fan. Like I love toys. Like I don't ever like Felicity. I had toys lined up behind me that Felicity stole most of mine, and I'm still a little mad at her
well,
for
that's
it.
the fun of it, you know. They're
I'm like,
into
yeah.
what you're into. It's cool, and it's like the things that you love. Like August was like in a dinosaur phase for a while, and so we did different things, but like just we would watch clips of Jurassic Park. He couldn't watch the whole movie, and also he just likes watching clips. That's also just a young kid thing, and it was so fun because I saw it in the theater for sure, and it was one of my favorite cinematic experiences. To just like have them connect with you about something that you loved when you were that age is really fun. And my husband like is obsessed with comic books, so like for my husband's birthday, me and my kid went and bought a bunch of like Batman, like what is it, Halloween? I can't think of it. Anyway, a bunch of like Batman, like famous Batman, big comics, and so it was just fun. And then he and Zach, I mean, again, not appropriate for a 4-year-old at the time, but it's fun because they'll like read it. And August like loves Poison Ivy, who's just like so gorgeous and voluptuous. And she's like kissing Batman in this like really gorgeous, iconic moment in the comic books. I think it was maybe the Killing Joke. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh damn! What a good kid! What a cool kid though.
Yeah, but it's fun because you connect, with them over things that you loved. Oh, speaking of, this is my kid. I figured he would pop by. Hi.
Hey, what's up, Algo?
I was just talking about Batman.
We were just talking about Batman and Zelda.
Oh, can you tell Chris what you like about Zelda? Who's your favorite character? Link? Or Sleepy? Sorry.
Oh, that's all right, buddy. I've been playing Zelda since I was your age.
That's what I told him. I was like, Zelda's nothing like it used to be. Now it's like Breath of the Wild is incredible.
When I saw on Instagram that you were playing Zelda, August, I was impressed because it was actually too hard for me. I couldn't figure it out.
He had to watch a lot of YouTube videos that like helped him figure it out. But yeah, it's a hard game.
Really hard.
I got my nephew the same game, and so obviously we can't see each other. He's like in Oklahoma, so they'll just both put on Zelda and play together, but separately, which is kind of fun.
Have you done Twitch?
No, we haven't done Twitch.
I haven't either. I can't figure it out. I gotta. But it sounds fun. I'm learning more about it, but it seems pretty cool.
To Twitch. All right, can you go put Daddy? I don't know he wants to know what is Twitch. How can you explain it?
So I actually haven't used it, but from what it sounds like, it's a way you can play video game. You can watch people play video games in real time and talk to each other.
Oh my gosh, we gotta look that up because
actually, I'm not gonna lie, it does look pretty cool. And look that up. And they just added they just added an option for a watch party with Amazon movies. So you could like watch. We just did an event where you could watch on See You Live, where you could watch a movie with friends. I think that's really what the future is going to be, because it's awesome. It was
like the new Milan came out today.
Yeah,
that would be
so you could do
fun. Or like the Star Wars movies, like watch those with cousins and
oh my goodness. Or I just got they just re-released Tony Hawk, so I was like, I'm gonna try to figure that out so I can play with my friends who are in different states.
Yes, that would be so fun. Yeah, you want to go?
Are you a Star Wars family? Are you a Star Wars family?
My husband knows quite a bit about it. I like it.
I'm more of that.
Yeah, but I do really like it, and I certainly love, Carrie Fisher, and I have random opinions about Rey. I like her a lot, but I kind of liked it that she used to be normal, and then they had to make her a Skywalker or whatever, which is fine. But
yeah,
I actually thought it was really cool that she was just going to be an everyman.
It kind of bummed me out. But do you watch Mandalorian?
Yes, he loved it.
You watched it too, buddy?
Oh yeah. God. Who was your favorite character? Baby Yoda.
Mine too. Moff Gideon scared me a little bit.
The part when he eats the frog is his favorite.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard. You know what? The part when the robot, the IG, what's his name? The IG-11.
Mm-hmm.
When the robot got destroyed, it made me cry.
Yeah.
My wife and I gave us the weepies.
I know, he was a real hero.
I know.
I know.
October 30th.
Oh, it's coming out soon. Oh, that'll be great.
Next month or 2 months from now. Yeah. I just want a whole planet of Baby Yodas.
The robot that was shooting, the shooter robot when he died.
That wasn't sad.
He was a bad guy. No, I think he was trying to be good. He self-destructed, right?
Yeah, he turned into a nurse robot. And he protected the Baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He protected that Baby Yoda.
That Baby Yoda is it. Oh my god, it is the cutest thing I've seen in my entire life.
It was brilliant. I don't know how they figured out the best thing ever to do with the Star Wars universe, but they sure did. All right, you'll standing up there in just a minute, okay?
Yeah, one thing I'm wondering, I've noticed about myself is like I now judge people who aren't good with kids, and I used to always be very nervous around children until I had my own.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, if someone's like, not judge in a bad way, but like if someone is like extra good with Felicity or just like nice, I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's so funny. I do think too, the world's a nicer place when you walk around with like a cute little kid with you, because like, oh my, when I go out with her, I get so many more hellos when it's just me. Mm-hmm. If I just walk by myself, it's just stares. When Felicity, it's like, hi. Well, that's because she's in her stroller going saying hi to everyone that walks by.
Yes, I know. That's the thing. They solicit it. They love to talk. And like when there's dogs, like August loves to go try to pet dogs.
Oh, I love it.
Really cute.
Oh, it is so cool. It is so fun. So let's before we wrap it up. So let's give us a little. What's the skinny on for the best?
Yeah. So it's also set in Providence, actually mostly on the east side of Providence. And it's the story of a woman who gets. Who kind of has everything going for her. She's the CEO of a big foundation. She's got a big house on the east side and kind of a perfect stay-at-home husband and kid. And then
so it's your entire real life?
No, not quite. She gets blackout drunk and a man's murdered. And she's the only suspect. So she can't remember what happened. And she doesn't like how the police are handling things because she's the only suspect. And so she starts a true crime vlog to prove herself innocent of the crime.
Oh my God. You keep having these themes.
Oh.
Alcohol, control, like
all
fighting the man. Is this like where you're goody and this is your...
So for me, this book was about female white privilege. It was me wanting to think about things I take for granted, things I expect to work out for the best, things that I have always had handed to me because I'm white and often a woman. So this was just an exploration of that, and there was a lot of ground to cover. And there's her father as a big character in it. He also has a pretty bad drinking problem, and also is privileged and abuses his privilege, which is easy to do in our society for sure.
And encouraged.
Very encouraged.
Not by me.
Right. But it is. And so, yeah, this, the heart of this book is definitely like, I just wanted like a page turning thriller, but I definitely had these kind of, just as I did with my first book, Little Voices, it was about a postpartum kind of journey and exploring motherhood, but also a thriller. Same with this. Like, this was about me wanting to think about being a white woman and what privileges come with that, what I have done that is embarrassing, what I have done that's wrong. I also kind of think in some ways the way white women act when they are drinking and drunk, like there's this part in Girls Trip, the Tiffany Haddish, Jada Pinkett Smith
I didn't
movie.
see it.
Oh God, it's
I
super
need
good.
to.
You should watch it. But they
I
all,
heard
it's like
it.
these 4 best friends. They're all Black, and they are about to go out and party. And I think it was Tiffany Haddish said, "Yeah, let's go out and get white girl wasted." And, but that's a thing, and it's a privilege.
Yeah.
In that, like, people will hold your hair back, and they're not going to call the police, and they don't care if you run out on your bar tab, and
Yeah, or break something.
or hit somebody, you know. And none of that is true for people of color, especially, you know, Black women, Black men in particular, I would say, like, really can't act that way. And so there's this threat of alcoholism and alcohol abuse in it, just because to me, it's a example of, yeah, a really bad disease that's often passed down genetically, but also it's a way in which our privilege is expressed and taken advantage of.
Yeah, people, it's like a pass. I mean, I'm a substance abuse counselor, so I couldn't agree with that more. I always say this in like with the groups I work with, but like from like a very young age, the entire world is like basically just encourages you to drink alcohol, and it's almost like this wink, and you can do anything. Which, you know, sometimes there's some funny stories. I hope we all have. I mean, I'm not a drinker, but a huge drinker. But, you know, people do criminal activities and obviously the horrible stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think that's so cool, and what is so fun about everything you have been doing of like with your books and then writing for the Projo. Like there seems to be like that cool thread. Like you're clearly that's something in your head and you're thinking about like privileges kicking around. You write the thriller. But I love that you wrote that in that article you wrote about taking August to the Black Lives Matter movement in Providence and like talking to kids about race. Like I'm a huge fan. It's like words in action, and it's just good to see like you're also putting it into action simultaneously, like being the example, but without being annoying about it, because there's a truth that people. I think I get the sense like you're just being you, and I think that's what people want.
I'm just like trying to figure it out. Like I think the most important thing that anybody who's trying to be anti-racist or an ally or whatever is like, you're just making mistakes every day, and you're just being very honest with yourself about it, or as honest as you can be, and you're just pushing yourself to be better, because, you know, we've been raised in a way that allows for
bad shit,
complete disregard of people, and an expectation of that disregard. And so to fight against that is not the work of a year. It's not the work of a month. I mean, it's a work of a lifetime. And
the John Lewis quote.
You know, those pathways are in your brain, and they're not gonna just stop because you read a book or whatever. You know what I mean? That's like, people should read books, but I just mean that it's work. It's like daily work. And so anything I've been like writing about or thinking about comes from a place of like, I don't know how to do this right. I probably am not doing it right, and I'll just be honest about it. And then, you know, hopefully people will tell me when it's wrong, or maybe they'll see some of their own journey in it. I don't know. I definitely feel like I'm, you know, failing a lot, but that's okay. We should.
It's part of it. And I mean, you're from Oklahoma, and up until Watchmen came out, until Blackish did an episode about it, I had never heard of. I didn't know what Juneteenth was, and I never knew what Juneteenth was until Blackish, and until Watchmen was coming out this last year. I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about the Tulsa massacre. Was that something you were aware of? Like in your schools, probably, I'm going to guess, didn't teach that.
No, definitely not. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who's a teacher in Oklahoma, and she said they just started teaching it 2 years ago.
That's sooner than I expected.
Well, I guess. I mean, that's like a willful, purposeful repression of what happened. I mean, they just started calling it a massacre, you know.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I hadn't either until, you know, the Watchmen. I think I'd heard of it, a little bit before the Watchmen used it, but certainly not in the way that was so, to see it represented so violently as it should have been, and graphically. I'd never really, you know, put my arms all the way around the tragedy of it. And, you know, once I started researching it and learning about it, it's a complete embarrassment. But honestly, in Oklahoma right now, there's a lot of complete embarrassments. Like it's a mess down there right now. So
Have you been to Tulsa?
oh yeah, tons. Yeah, definitely.
So have you been to like the sites? So like I don't follow it that much, but there's no like plaques or anything. I just had no idea. It blew my
They
mind.
don't. So they are just opening a memorial to it. Just I think within the past year or so. I think there's a lot of there's still a strong Black community in Tulsa, even though they try to destroy it. Murder it.
I mean,
and
literally drop bombs on them.
Like the only time that's ever happened in our nation's history, when we drop bombs on our own neighborhoods. It's unbelievable, or it's believable, but they, there is still a strong Black community there, and there are like Black-owned bookstores, and there's some activism, and certainly within like Black Lives Matter, and like the Trump rally was there that killed Herman Cain. Like that all was there. There was like good progressive movement in Tulsa. So, as far as it goes, it is, I don't know, as progressive a city in Oklahoma could be, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of people trying. It's really hard because it is one of the most conservative red places.
Yeah, at least like we talk about this when I in my field, like in terms of recovery, is like we talk, of like behavioral, mental health, and substance abuse. It is sometimes very small increments at a time, and you got to really celebrate every little victory when you get them. I didn't mean to bring this to such a down. Good, we always not to end. We won't end on such a sad note, because I don't know much about Oklahoma, but I'm sure it's a lovely, beautiful state. As what I've learned from traveling, that people are not their state government, and
that's true.
Like I grew up in the Northeast, and everyone just kind of shunned the South. And then the first time I went out west or went to the South, I did not. A single person would harass me or said a word about politics first. Usually, it was like, "You're not from around here. Well, you got to try this barbecue. You got to go here. You got to go there." So like, you can hate the state government, but the people of Oklahoma, I'm sure, are wonderful, or most of them.
Absolutely, yeah. And I actually have 3 book events in Oklahoma bookstores the week after next. And there's
in person.
No, everything is virtual.
I mean, I know people who are flying right now. I mean,
I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't. And I don't think bookstores are putting people at risk in that way.
Yeah.
Either. So I think I have maybe 15 or so events, and they're all virtual.
So what's up as we wrap it up? I know when the book is coming out, on the 8th?
This Tuesday, yeah.
This Tuesday, and you can pre-order it. And if you're local to Rhode Island, where could you purchase it, and where can you buy online?
So please, if you can, buy local. Inkfish Books in Warren. You can order online, and they'll just ship it to you. Symposium Books downtown.
Oh, I love them.
They're the best. You can also get copies at Barrington Books and Barrington Books Retold. Wakefield Books. So I'm actually tomorrow, I think I'm going to be at 3 different bookstores tomorrow signing books, not in person, but just so they have them in stock, which was going to be a really fun day. So they're all ready. If, anybody wants a copy, definitely think about your local bookstore in Rhode Island. Or if you're not in Rhode Island, it doesn't matter. Just order from one of these bookstores and you get a signed copy and you support a small business.
Yeah. Oh my God, please do. That's such, yeah.
Yeah, we're not constrained by locations anymore. I can't figure out if you're frozen or if I'm frozen. But if I'm not frozen, please shop local. Oh, I can't tell.